It's the Gamer Dude 2088 back again with another video, and this is discussion number 3. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what I believe, in my personal opinion, the top 5 cards, well, the top 5 ultra rare cards in MLP CCG. But first, I want to introduce 2 cards and what I want to call my honorable mentions. First is Heart's Desire. Now, Heart's Desire didn't quite make the cut because it's good, but it kind of is not what I would say top tier type of card. It's a 2 cost. It's a asset resource you play to your home. It's a face-off reaction, and it says when you win a face-off, you may dismiss this card to gain 4 action tokens, which is excellent. That's a +2 every time you win a face-off, but you have to win the face-off for you to get that +2, and it works well in a purple deck because purple has Studious, and with Studious, you pretty much +3 with Heart's Desire, which makes it kind of a better card, but not quite good enough. And in my second honorable mention, Octavia Visceral. I still can't say this thing right, but Octavia. And Octavia makes it to the honorable mentions and not quite on the list just because of that hefty cost of 5. That 5 really hinders her. For the 4 power, which is good, they only need two white in play just to get her out, which is not difficult. And she has an excellent ability which says your opponent must play +2 action tokens to move a character to or from this card, which is like pretty good. I mean, have to move to and from. The only problem is you could just avoid the problem that she's at unless you're being blocked out of the other problem some kind of way, like Alexoto or something. But it really combos well if you're running purple and using Timberwolves and a tricky hat. The only problem with that is if your opponent happens to be able to set up and takes out the Timberwolf, if they're able to confront that problem, you give them too much access to winning the game. And you probably had to pay a lot of action tokens just to even get her set up to be able to do all of that, which kind of just makes it like, I'm not so sure. But let's start the countdown. All right, number 5. Number 5. Big Mac Immense Apple. Immense Apple makes it solely just because of the orange archetype is about power. They do dismiss like the pink archetype does, but the pink archetype is the best when it comes to dismissing, just because they have events that dismiss as well as characters, which so far in the game, Orange only has characters, and a lot of those characters really not all that good. It's just the power of them dismissing and discarding from the opponent is pretty good. It's pretty good. And with Big Mac, he costs the 5, which is kind of healthy, just like Octavia, and then it's pretty much just the same. 4 power, need 2 in play. But Big Mac is once again in a deck where you have full steam or 4-for-4 drop, which is already good. And then he has the stubborn. So eat your heart out, purple pear sprite. And all of them freaking purple pear sprite plays that people like to do at my locals. Because purple pear sprite exhausts the crap out of you, and stubborn just allows you to keep going and doing what you need to do to confront and win and face off against the opponent. And then it goes on to saying, during face-offs evolving this card, flip an additional card. I have 4 power. I flip a 4. Let me flip an additional. I flip a 5. Okay, I win more than likely just off of Big Mac, and I can just drop Big Mac right on my opponent's problem. And oh yeah, he's the Big Mac, all right. Say 2 all beef patties, special sauce, and a flip of an additional card, and that's just your ass in this game. That's why he makes it to number 5. Now the number 4, Nightmare Moon. And okay, I know what you're thinking. Why isn't Nightmare Moon higher on the list? Why? Because Nightmare Moon is, yes, good because you have that 7 power, which I don't think there's any other card in the game that has a power that high. So more likely, if you flip it during the face-off, you're gonna win. The 3 points that you can get since it's a villain, and then it goes on to say, when you uncover this card, all players discard their hands and draw 3 cards. Excellent. At the start of each player's troublemaker phase, that player discards a random card. So you kind of like fuck your opponent big time with this. It's like your opponent gets hindered bad when you drop this card, but if you're not set up so you can take out Nightmare Moon yourself, you really hinder and hurt yourself. And it's kind of hard to bluff because if you're moving your characters from that problem just to play this troublemaker, more likely they're going to think it's a villain. And people tend to shy away from that. So you're going to have to probably set up your own self. So if you're not ready for it, you're going to have some pretty long games and might end up losing just because of. So this is why she's at number 4. Now, number 3, Twilight Sparkle, Ursa Vanquisher. This card is excellent. Not too hefty of a cost, but not exactly that low either. You need 3 in play, which is kind of in the middle too. But that 4 power does the deal. And of course, she has Studious, which combos well. Back with our first honorable mention, Heart's Desire. And goes on to saying, main phase. While this card is at a problem, you may exhaust and put it into your hand. If you do, move up to 2 of your opponent's characters home. That is so amazing of an ability. It's like the replay value is epic in this card alone, which gives it such a high spot. And well, it's in the middle, but it's still pretty high. It's not exactly at the bottom, not exactly at the top, but right in the middle where she should, because the card is real good, but it's not the best, but it does kind of hurt your opponent being able to stop them from making those after they make a push and you drop this and stop them. It's like, what can they do after that? Now they're waiting before they can do something to get rid of Twilight Sparkle. Because they know she's more likely about to come right back and do it all over again. So they're going to have to do whatever they can to win as soon as possible before Twilight digs in that ass. Just plain and simple. Alright, number 2 is Rainbow Dash Winged Wonder. And I was debating on this and the number 1 card for being number 1. Because this card is real good. It's like excellent. I mean, the cost is okay. It's not that powerful of a card, and you only need 2 in play. Blue can drop 2 with Emerald Green, and then you got Winged Wonder right there. And you have the Swift ability, giving you 1 less action that you have to pay just for movement. But when it goes on to saying, when you play this card to a problem, you may move up to 3 of your friends to that problem for free. For free. 3 friends. This is like that game-winning card, that push to make the changing of tide in a match. It's just like, everything you possibly could need at that one point in time when you're able to play this card and you have field presence and can't do anything. Because this is one game that you can have something, your opponent can have something, you can just totally win. Even if your opponent has more than you do, they just don't have enough actions to be able to do so. And being able to drop this card that first time and make that move really hurts. But since it doesn't have replayability, this is the only reason why it makes number 2 and not number 1. And the number 1 card that everyone has been waiting for, and you know what it is. Rarity truly outrageous. And I debated so hard. It's like the same cost, the same color requirement, the same power, but its ability tops. It's like the bee's knees. This is probably the best card, not only Ultra, but in the entire game so far, just because of this sentence. When you confront this card's problem, you may move this card home to score points equal to that problem's bonus. Like, replayability, hello. I can do this over and over and my opponent can't do nothing. Unless they run in pink. If they run in pink, that'd be the only thing that can really like stop it, because you can just kill truly outrageous with the dismissing that pink does. So that'd be the only thing that can stop it. But until then, you're scoring crazy, and you might only need just a little bit left. You only have a little bit left, and just need to make probably 4 or 5 points, and can't do it just in that one turn, or your opponent's about to win next turn and you need to do something, but you've been holding this card in your hand the whole game, because it's not exactly the card you just want to drop, especially if you know your opponent's playing a color like pink. You don't want to kind of drop this card early. You want to kind of hold it. But if you're forced to take it out of your hand because you're afraid of yellow parasprites, then play it then. But if you don't have to worry about yellow parasprites, then you want to keep this card until that play is needed. And this card is just exactly what it says. Truly outrageous. It's so great. I don't understand why a card is so broken like this card, but it is. And this game is about 2 things: having more power during your face-offs and scoring points, because that's how you win. So whatever you can do to score more points and have more power during your face-off is excellent. And your secondary things will be having to pay less in action tokens. So if you're getting more action tokens for doing certain things like studious, that's good. If you're using like Swift to move for less, that's also good. But those are like tertiary requirements, not the top of what this card game is all about. Scoring points and having more power is everything, because if you can always do that, your opponent can't do anything. And this is one card that scores points big. And just like our number 5 card, this is one card that punches you in the face because of that high power. And this is it. Tell me what you think about the video. If you think the top 5 that I came up with is the way you would do it, if you were to change something, if something that I didn't mention you should put on the list, or something you think that should have been higher up on the list, please put all of that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like it if you like it. If you didn't like it anyway. And don't forget to subscribe. This is Gamer Dude, and I'm out.